Hello friends, welcome back to more Smite build stuff. This time, Mr. Chocolate Rain Dance guy, Chaac, doing builds for him, seeing how that stuff all works out. I haven't seen much Chaac this season, but I feel like he's still, he's still up there, he's still decent, he can still do stuff, be all good and all that. First, I'm just going to talk about, ability order, how to level abilities. So, at level 1, your 2 actually does more damage than your 1. Also gives you protections if you hit gods, but it's a longer cooldown and costs more. So you could start your 2. The only thing is when you're starting in lane and you're like fighting right away, you might be in trouble if you like go up to the wave to clear with your 2 as opposed to throwing your 1 from a distance. Plus with your 1 on a shorter cooldown and costing less mana, you can use it more often early on. So again, you start your 2 or your 1. I think that 1's probably the safer option though. Again, you can stand back, you can clear from a distance, and you can get it up more often, so you can use it more. That's pretty good. Level 2 really depends. As with most gods, you could get your 2, which will do more damage, so you could clear faster. If you're doing camp clears or whatever, that'd probably be better. Your 3, if you need to sustain more, might be better. If you're getting poked out a lot at level 1 and you just heal up, maybe get your 3 for the heal. But ideally, you'll get your 2, so you can have more damage, you can clear stuff faster, you can get more gold, more experience, and all that. And then probably get your 3 at level 3, or whichever ability you didn't get at level 2. Get at level 3. Then you're going to be maxing your 1 first, because that's just your main clear ability. Get your alt when you can, 'cause it's pretty dang good. Points into your 1. Next thing, you can max either your 2 or your 3. Again, this is really personal preference. I kind of like going the 3 more because I like getting the extra sustain. But if you feel like you don't need that sustain, you just want to get the damage off, you can get the 2 and just do lots more damage. Also get the extra protections when you hit gods, so that would be a good thing. But again, personally, I'd rather do the 3. 2's fine, but I'd do 3. And max out your stuff, get points to your alt when you can, finish maxing your 3, points for 2, alt, and 2, and then alt. And bam, look, now you're fully leveled up, level 20 Chaac. It's all great. Alright, so going into build, start bluestone, because, it works pretty well with Chaac. You can probably do health pots, multi-pots if you want. Again, the thing, and I mentioned this before, the thing with Season 4 right now is, it really depends on what's happening early on in the game. You could not get your blue buff at all. You could not get your blue buff till later, in which case mana pots might be better. But with Chaac's passive, you could probably get away with multi-pots anyways, because you can just get free mana if you auto-attack. But it's really up to you. Health pots and then either multi-pots or mana pots, whichever one you feel more comfortable with. Obviously first you're getting some warrior tabi. Now, recently there's patch notes for patch 4.3, I think, in which Shield of Regrowth is getting nerfed a little bit. And because of that, it's kind of changed. It's gonna change up how I build stuff. So I'm just gonna talk about that build instead, because it works fine now, and it'll just work out for 4.3. I think it's 4.3. Now, as a lot of you know, I don't like Breastplate of Valor, but with Shield of Regrowth losing health, the Regrowth build that I like doing on gods with self-heals, you kind of need more health items now. I mean, you kind of needed more health items before, but you could get away with it. Now you kind of definitely need more health items, which means like Genjis and Shoguns might be a little bit less buildable and stuff like that, so you're not getting as much cooldown. So Breastplate first item might be the way to go. Again, you could always, instead of this, if you're not a big fan of Breastplate, like myself, you can start with Gladiator Shield and sell Gladiator Shield late game for Mantle of Discord. You're getting essentially the same cooldown as Breastplate. You're getting essentially the same protection as Breastplate once you get Mantle of Discord in there, so it's not a huge difference, but then you're not getting the MP5. So Breastplate might just be the best option to go with right now, even though, again, I don't like the item bunches. It's not lots of protections compared to other items, and it's a little bit more expensive than other items, but it just works out pretty well for what we're building these days. So Breastplate, first item, sure, why not? We'll be boring. We'll do that. Next up, Magical Defense. We want to get health here again because we're going to be building Shield of Regrowth later, and it's going to have less health than it does now. So we want to get more health in our build. So we're going to pick up probably a Pestilence here. Lots of protections, a little bit of health. It's always a good thing to pick up. There's going to be healing on pretty much every comp, even if it's just Lifesteal or Meditation. So Pestilence will work out well regardless. You can get any other item in this tree. They all work out well. Bulwark's good against crowd control. Heartward's good if your support doesn't pick it up. But either way, it's you can do whatever you want there. Pick up an item, get some health, get some protections. Good. You could still pick up Genjis or Shoguns. I just, you don't really need the cooldown if you're going to get Breastplate. Oni Hunter's Garb will still be good, but again, also getting health is a good thing, so that's really up to you, but I prefer the health items. Now, because we have Breastplate, and because we're going to be picking up Shield of Regrowth next, not next, but like eventually, I like getting a Hide of the Urchin now. Hide of the Urchin or Magi's Blessing. Now, you could build this like second item so you get stacked quicker, but it's still good. You're getting health and mana, and you're getting protections of both, and once you stack it up, it's pretty dang good protections of both. So I've been building Hide of the Urchin. Again, gets you super tanky, and then after this, we'll build our Shield of Regrowth. Again, I've talked about Shield of Regrowth a lot in the past. It gives you a lot of stats you really want. 20% cooldown is hard to find on like tank items. Health is never a bad thing, and HP5 and MP5 just helps you out bunches. So Shield of Regrowth is a good pickup, and I mean the passive itself also gives you more survivability, especially where Chaac has no, movement abilities other than throwing his axe and using his 2, and that's really telegraphed. This gives you a way to get away from stuff with your heal. And run way faster. You can, you can avoid people. You can weave in and out of stuff. You can get into fights faster. You can get out of fights faster. And now with this build already, we have almost 3k health and a good amount of protections. And remember, these protections here that's showing are before you're stacking up, Urchin, so you'll have a little bit more protections there. Personally, if you want to go super tanky, like this build already is really tanky, but super tanky, you can pick up a Thebes here. Gives you health and protections of both. Especially if your support doesn't pick up a Thebes because they're weird. You could pick it up, give your whole team protections, give yourself protections. Now again, these protections it's showing are before the stacks of Urchin. So once you stack up Urchin, it'll be like 228 physical and 213 magical protection, which is insane. Having above 200 protections of both, and you have over 3k health. Super duper tanky. It's crazy super good. You won't die like ever. But because of the build that we have, we don't need to get a Thebes. Before we were getting Thebes because we needed more health, and protection's always a good thing. Now we have health from 3 of our items. So you could really pick up any item last year, or switch the build order around and pick up any item. You can pick up like a damage item here. You can pick up some sort of penetration, like a Brawler's or a Titan's Bane if you really wanted to. You could pick up anything with health. Stone of Guy could work well if there's lots of knockups. What else was I going to say? You could also pick up a Magi's Blessing here if you want to have the extra crowd control, what's it called, immunity. Mass Immunity could still be good if you're diving the back line, and you're getting health from it, which is great. Wing Blade's also always super good. Pick up a Wing Blade if you want, stop some slows. Witch Blade could kind of work if you want to get the aura off. I mean, you're not going to be using auto attacks as much as someone like an Osiris or a Bellona, but it can still work in the build. Honestly, like any item can go here because of how much health we already have and because of how many protections we already have. Again, and this is before the stacks, assuming it's fully stacked, it just add an extra 30 to both physical and magical. You already have lots of protections, you already have lots of health. You can just pick up honestly any item you want. If you want to go damage, you could damage. If you want to build a trance earlier, you could build trance like 3rd item, then Urchin, and then like Pestilence, Regrowth, and you'd have like a bunch of power, and you still have a lot of protections and a lot of health. So honestly, any item you want here, again, super duper extremely tanky, never die option in my opinion would be Gauntlet of Thebes. It just gives you the most that you could ever ask for of an item in this slot, but if you don't need all those protections, a little bit of damage would work too. But yeah, that pretty much covers it. That last item is completely situational. Anything you want to build, whatever you're trying to do, you could really fit something in there. I mean, even Frostbound, if you want to have extra slows and just be obnoxious, I mean, I don't know, build Heartseeker, why not, right? Just get more power, blow people up. Again, Mass Immunity could work out pretty well if you're in the back line. You get some health, and you also get the power and a little bit of protections. Rune Force you could probably pick up. Work out well. Runic Shield, obviously, too, against Freyas or Chronoses, who aren't being played much, but Freyas for sure. I don't know, maybe pick up a Crusher if you want some more damage, too, like some more pen. You can pick up a Void Shield, help out your team a little bit. Again, honestly, like any item can go in this slot. Any sort of penetration, power, defense, or health item could go in the last slot. It's just whatever you're feeling in that game, whatever you really need in that game. So next up, Relics, same as every solo laner, but I'll talk about it again. Generally, you're picking up Teleport first. Let's blink. Generally, you're picking up Teleport first. It's 90% of the time what you're picking up first. You can pick up a Sunder if you want an early kill. You can pick up Horrific Emblem if you want an early kill. Like, Horrific Emblem combined with Chaac slow is insane. They're just, like, not moving. But then you'd also need to have your 3 as well as your damage ability, so it won't be a super early kill. It'd be like a level 2, level 3 kill that you're chasing. Sunder works for a super early kill. You're trying to, like, get that first blood with your jungler in solo super quick. Other than that, I don't see anything else being the first item. Again, Teleport 90% of the time, Sunder or Horrific Emblem if you're looking for an early kill. I guess even Sprint if you're looking for an early kill. Kind of the same idea as Horrific Emblem, but the opposite effect. Second Relic, pretty much anything. Blink could kind of work on him. You don't really need it, but I mean, it could be fun. Blink's just kind of fun on everyone. Blink over walls and like ult them, and they'll be like, whoa, what's going on? Bracer works out pretty well. You eat a Kraken, you eat a Vulcan ult, you just heal up half of that already. It's crazy. Curse works against lots of healing gods. Not as strong as it was last season, just because it doesn't have the slow also, but still works against Hell, still works against Chang'e, still works against Sylvanas, Hercules. If you want to really burst them down and you don't have any anti-heal on your team, Curse could work out really, really well. Sprint, more survivability. You're going to have your Shield of Regrowth passive, but Sprint could also help you and your team get away from things. Thorns is generally my favorite pickup because you just get to be in the back line and people are doing damage to themselves. You're at like, you know, 15% health and their Frey's at 5% health and she ults to try and kill you. You pop Thorn, she just kills herself. That's always great. Phantom, you're really only getting this against Odin. Again, it works against knockups, but it's really hard to time against knockup comps. So generally, this is more just like an anti-Odin pickup. Med's also always good for your team. You want to probably have at least one med. If your support picks it up, maybe don't pick it up. But again, Med's probably the one teamfight relic that I could see getting 2 of and not be like, that's terrible, you know? Just having that extra sustain in fights is always a good thing. Shell's still really good, more so once you level it up. The base level isn't great, but it's still okay. If you're up against a, you know, again, Poseidon, Ra, Vulcan, some of the big burst ults, if you have a leveled up Shell and you just pop it before the Kraken goes off or whatever, you're mitigating a lot of damage for your team. Your Squish is going to be taking less, your ADC is going to be taking less, it's going to work out pretty well. Perfect Element, again, super obnoxious along with with Chaac slow. It just makes them so that they're like not moving and you can just burst anyone down if you have, you know, any sort of DPS there. Sunder also works really well, just lots and lots of damage. If you're trying to focus down a tank or really anyone, you hit them with Sunder, the rest of your team can follow up. And it just, you know, a lot more damage onto them. But again, generally my like go-to pickup as a second relic for solo lane will be Thorns. Again, obviously situations where everything else would be better than Thorns, but generally speaking, don't know what to pick up, I'd probably just get Thorns. I guess that's pretty much everything to talk about. So I was talking to a friend who said maybe don't get Regrowth on Chaac because of his whatchamacallit, because of the long cooldown on his Rain Dance. But once you build Thorns, right, or not Thorns, that's what I'm talking about. Once you build Regrowth, you'll have full cooldown if you're building Breastplate first, which means that your heal will be on a 10-second cooldown.
It's gonna get sticky.
So the way this cooldown works is that the 10 seconds starts after the actual rain thing ends, so you're going to be getting about there'll be like 15 seconds between times that you can speed up. But the good thing about this is, unlike someone like Amaterasu with a really fast cooldown on the stance switch, is every single time you're popping your heal, you're going to be getting the regrowth passive. So you know every time you pop heal, you're going to be going super fast, and that's great. Especially having the super fastness along with the slow around you, could really mess up other people's, let you chase them down and everything. That's pretty much all I have to say about Chaac. Again, there's lots of situational stuff. Solo lane builds are super situational. Things change from game to game depending on who you're up against, depending on what you're trying to do as a team comp, depending on what they're trying to do as a team comp. So this isn't like a you have to build this every game or you're bad. This is kind of just a guideline. Also, this build in particular, I think works on Chaac if you have no idea what to build. Same with really any god with self heals. You're like, I don't know what to build on this god. I've never played him, whatever. This will be good in pretty much every situation. You have everything you need. You have physical, magical protection. You have lots of health. You have full cooldown. You're really not missing much on this build. You just don't have tons of damage, but as a solo laner, you could have no damage items and still be top damage in the game because that's what solo laners do. That's what warriors do. It's broken. But anyways, thank you for joining. Hope you enjoyed. Hope that gives you a little bit of a guideline as to what you should be building on Chaac. Again, this also works for any other solo laners with self heals. It's pretty much the same thing, same idea. But yeah, take care, everyone.